Hello everyone, it's your girl Talisha Thomas with Building Business Etiquette. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an image and etiquette consultant here in Houston, Texas. And today we're going to talk about traveling to the Netherlands. That's right, traveling to the Netherlands. So those of you who are who love to travel overseas, who love to adventure and try new things, this will be a great time excuse me, to explore your options around the world. And guess what? Netherlands are very known for doing international affairs. Okay, so this is a kudos. So let's talk about, we're going to talk about their culture. We're going to talk about gift giving. We're going to talk about if you want to go to work in the Netherlands, like corporation, how it would be to work in a corporation out there. We're going to talk about meeting and greeting and so much more. So buckle your seatbelts. Here we go. Okay, so with the Netherlands, guys, you have to understand this is a Dutch society and they are very modest people. Okay, so when you go out there, the type of people you'll meet will be, like I said, modest. You would let me rephrase that, guy. When they're society, I meant modern. They're very modern. Their behaviors, you'll see very modest people. So let me correct that. You'll see modest people. You'll see people that are tolerant. They have an entrepreneurial mindset. They are hard workers. They are education driven, and like I said, they love to enjoy international affairs. Okay. Another thing you have to know about these people, they're very reserved. So most people who like to hug or be extroverts, they are more conservative and reserved people. So with that being said, is they don't do a lot of touchy-feely type ordeal. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the meet and greet. When you are in the Netherlands, the best way to greet them is through a handshake with pronouncing their last name. So that's how they do things. So how they do things, you should do the same thing. So if your name is Paul Johnson, you would extend your hand and then say Johnson. Okay. But here in the US, we like to greet each other with a hello or a good morning or a good evening or whatever it may be, and then we'll say our name. Okay, so in this case, you see the difference, right? Another thing you should know is being out there is that when you see someone and they're far away, you want to make sure that you do not yell out or shout out a greeting. Instead, you wave, like just a slight wave, to let them know that you acknowledge and you do see them. Now, when you are giving a handshake, you're supposed to give it when you enter a room and when you're exiting a room. And it doesn't matter if you are a child or an adult. The protocol is still the same. Okay, so you greet anyone from to oldest to youngest. Okay. You also want to know, guys, is let's talk about the rolling of we're gonna talk about gestures. So the rolling of your finger, guys. For those of you who don't know, if you're in the US, if someone does this to you, you're gonna be like, are you calling me crazy? No, that is not the case. In the Netherlands, that is not the case. When they do this, that means you have a telephone call. Okay, so not verbally saying, hey, excuse me, I'm going to be on a telephone call. You can literally do this and people understand that you're about to exit the facility or exit the meeting just to conduct your phone call. Okay, now let's move into joining the corporation side of the Netherlands. So like I said, they are very reserved people. Nothing you got to remember when you're trying to be in the business side of the Netherlands as to make sure that you never miss an appointment, reschedule an appointment, or postpone appointment. That's very rude, and it kind of lets them know that you're not really interested in business. Okay, so you don't want to ever do that. Make sure whatever you plan with the Dutch, that you go through what you say you're going to do. Okay, speaking of that, let's talk about stand what you say you're going to do. So if you say you're going to do something, you stick to your guns. If you plan on doing a project, you make sure you stay to that project. Don't switch it up. Don't say, oh, I'm gonna do it later or what have you. Okay, they do not like changes. They don't like changes of plans. You keep it what it is. They're very frugal and careful with money. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind when you're doing business with them. Dutches are very straight to the point and can be very stubborn at times. Okay, so that's why some of their meeting deals are very lengthy. They don't rush the deal process. They make sure that they are not. Let's talk about doing presentations. So if you do a presentation, you want to make sure that the presentation is factual and that it's well presented and that it doesn't look sloppy. Okay? All right, with that being said, guys, I have so much stuff to tell you guys. It's like I'm trying to make sure I catch every point here. So let's talk about food and entertainment. When you walk into a Dutch's home, of course, you never sit down unless you're told to be seated. Men, of course, you're supposed to pull a woman's seat out before you sit down. Food is not a major role or a major hospitality out there in the Netherlands like it is in the U.S. Some are in Mexico. It's not just the U.S. You'll see where we use hospitality. We use food as hospitality to speak to other people or to gain a relationship with them. So don't expect that in the Netherlands. It's totally different. And if food is going to be served or going to be presented, they will let you know in advance, okay? Also, one thing you need to know, if you're going to visit someone's house, you make sure that you do not ask to take a tour of their home. And out there in the Netherlands, it's considered rude. Okay, let's talk about dressing. Like I told you, they're very reserved. So guess what kind of work clothes that they'll be wearing? They'll be wearing conservative clothes. They don't care for things that are flashy. Remember, they also don't like flashy, they can't tolerate flashy people or show-offs. Okay, so this definitely, the dress code definitely goes hand in hand to who they are as people. Now let's talk about gifting. We all love to give luxurious gifts or sometimes go beyond with our gift giving. But since the Dutches are more so into their culture and their bringing up, they prefer gifts like wine, books, and art. Okay, so things like that. If you want to ever give a gift, you're more than welcome to do so. You do not, when business adventures, you do not want to bring a gift. The only time you would bring a gift is if you have established a great relationship with the business personnel that you're speaking with. Well, guys, that is all I wanted to speak with you today about. It's the Netherlands. I hope that this was helpful. Let me know what you think. What are some things that you learned? What are some questions that you may have? Please comment below. You can reach me on Facebook at Building Business Etiquette, or you can reach me on YouTube at Talisha Thomas. And I'll see you next time for another Etiquette Talk with Talisha. Bye, guys. Don't forget to share and like.